inspired to push through. Because there's a spark in you. Breakthrough or bust. Hello, beautiful. Welcome to Breakthrough or Bust. I am so glad you're here. And I am going solo today with a message. Still a story, but more a story of cultural programming than a personal story. And if you're noticing my pauses, I want to come right out and talk about the fact that I have been programmed not to do this kind of thing. I have always been an observer of human behavior. And I've always seen things a little bit different than other people. And so I guess when I would inquire on it or speak it, people didn't either agree or they didn't like it or, what have you. So as a child, like I was always redirected. I was always told to be quiet, always asked to just mind my business or, whatever message. I'm sure you've heard them as well. And so after many years, that programming took hold. I was pretty stubborn. It did take a while. But now I find myself saying, oh no, what have I let happen? And I'm working on undoing that programming because I realized that that's actually a gift to be able to see things clearly and not just accept it because that's how it's always been done. I questioned that, and I think that's what it was. I questioned things and I didn't accept it at, well, that's just how it's always been done. Well, why? That doesn't make sense, right? So, understanding that about me, I'm going to talk to you about something that I've recognized and that I've observed and noticed my entire life growing up. And I've been seeing quite a few examples of it a lot lately. And so I just felt that it was important to speak it. And as I'm opening up my throat chakra and being more comfortable with being seen and heard and getting my voice out there, I said, it's time. So I understand that this could possibly challenge you and you might not like it. But what I want to invite you to do is listen with an open mind. And if it does challenge you, instead of getting angry or irritated or just writing me off as full of crap, I want you to explore it, think about it, and say, why? Why am I challenged by this? So that's my invitation to you. So I want to go back. I noticed this thing in my household growing up that whenever something would happen, often in the public eye, maybe on a TV show, anything sort of scandalous, it was always the woman's fault. Even when it was the man who took the action, who did the thing that was the bad thing, it always seemed to come back to the woman. Well, she lied. She's probably a liar and a manipulator and got him to do it, kind of thing, right? This is where the mindset always was. And I know I even picked up part of that. And I believe that for many years, it strained my relationship with women, with females, where, you kind of don't trust them. They're always gonna steal your man. That's, I think, one of the biggest ones that people talk about, or, they're gonna, whatever, do something behind your back. And I know a lot of women feel that mistrust for other women. And ultimately, this is, once again, programming that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation But ultimately, when it began, it was to disempower women. Because when women come together, right, women empower each other. Women in community are some of the, like, it's just, they create. Women are about creation, literally, okay? And when they come together, they create in a powerful way, and they create with the heart, with the womb, with love. Women are amazing. And to a disempowered person, that can be intimidating. So what do? We disempower them by turning them against each other. And I say that because one of the things that I've noticed is, in a lot of these scenarios, it is the women who are throwing shade at the other women. And so a couple things that have gone down lately that just have really been in the public eye. And it's so funny because I feel like I always say, I really don't follow media and all of this stuff, but somehow like some of this stuff happens to leak through, and I'm like, why? And I think this is why, to talk about it. So I've noticed that, Johnny Depp has a defamation suit going on against his, I think, ex-wife, soon to be ex-wife, whatever they are. And as you go through that, there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of messages chastising her. And it's not like, I mean, some of them are, we support you, Johnny, but most of them are throwing shade at her. They're, oh, she's a bitch, she's a villain, she's a liar, she's a this, she's everything that you can possibly imagine, everybody throwing shade at her. And ultimately, I have no opinion on what happened there, okay? I wasn't there. And he's going to say one thing and she's going to say another thing, and the truth probably lies somewhere in between, okay? But ultimately, why are judgments being made automatically that she's the villain when nobody was there? None of us saw it. And then another one that's come up, the slap that was heard around the world. We all know about the Oscar slap, right? And we watched Will Smith walk up, slap Chris Rock, sit back down, and curse. And suddenly, Jada became the villain. When we watched him do the act, right? And everybody, well, I don't agree. And yes, I very much hear that. And when something like that happens, it is so clearly a trauma response. Okay. So I just want to get that out there right now. There's either some sort of blocked emotions, there's a trauma, something is happening when an overreaction happens. And quite honestly, if you've never overreacted to something, raise your hand, send me a message. I would love to learn from you, right? I think almost everybody has overreacted at some point in their life. It's a human thing. Like, we're here to grow and to learn. And so as humans, we have these missteps. It's okay. It's just part of our growth process. And I'll say that I think it would behoove us all to not be so quick to judge. But that judgment on him so quickly went to judgment on her. Now, when you watch it and you see her reaction, she clearly didn't like the joke. She rolled her eyes and she disapproved, non-verbally, with a physical reaction, very subtle, maybe not that subtle, like it was a good eye roll, but she didn't like it, but it was an appropriate reaction. Like, I don't care for it. I'm not supporting it. I'm not going to laugh and pretend like I liked it. So she was being authentic, which I actually appreciate. Sometimes we play along just to be polite and go along with the joke, but she didn't want to. It was something that she didn't like, and she let us know. But then somehow it turned into, she's a manipulator. She's, doing this, and she's that, and she's mean, and she's that. And all of these messages about what a horrible person she is, when she did not do anything but roll her eyes. And now, just to play devil's advocate, maybe that is the case. Maybe she is manipulating him. Maybe she is, toxic and all of that. But ultimately, Will has to still take personal responsibility for his actions. If that is the case, now it's time for him to pay attention and to explore and discover, why is he handing over his power? Why is he allowing this to happen? It takes two to tango in all situations, my friend. And why, when something happens, are we so quick to vilify the woman and think about every sexual assault or rape case that has ever come into the public eye? And I always love when, sarcasm here, I love when people say, oh, why did it take so long? Why did it take so long? They're obviously lying. That's always that first thing. And it's like, well, because they were already attacked once, and they have to build themselves up to be attacked by the public now, right? When those cases come to light, it's always like, oh, he's a great guy. He would never do that. He's innocent till proven guilty. And when the woman comes forward, oh, she's a liar. She's trying to ruin this man's career, his life, whatever. She's always guilty till proven innocent. Think about how many people had to come forward before anybody would believe that Bill Cosby raped. Nobody wanted to believe that. He's like America's dad. Nobody wanted to believe it. And these women were vilified, and in some cases still are. So my point in bringing this to light is to bring awareness to it. Bring awareness with love. I think that, again, like when we go into that reflection phase, right? When we look in the mirror, this is how we grow. This is how we become better at being a human. And I had to do it. I noticed that I had picked up some of that from my own household, where I was so quick to blame the woman. And honestly, I even with the Johnny Depp, my knee-jerk reaction was, oh, come on. Whoa, wait a second. I wasn't there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What am I doing? I can't judge that. No judgment, right? So I had to correct myself, but it's only because I had been observing for a long time this tendency. It's this cultural programming. And if you do it, don't get angry at me or yourself or anybody, right? Just know that it's just been something you've been taught, and whoever taught you was taught, and it's been taught for, I don't know how long, right? So far back. So we don't need to vilify ourselves or anybody else who has done it. We just open our eyes to it so we can start to change. And I say start to change because you know what? One step forward, two steps back sometimes. But then when you're aware, you say, oh my gosh, I just fell into that habit again. But now I see, and I'm going to course correct with love for myself, for the other person. And I'm just gonna live and let live. So that is my 2 cents today. I hope that it was helpful. I hope it was worth listening to. I would love to hear what you think. The good, the bad, the ugly. Let me know and reach out. Sending you so much love. Keep pushing through because there's a spark in you.